Welcome to the Humorism Evening Podcast, the official podcast of the Humorism newsletter. I'm your host, Seth Simons, author of the Humorism newsletter. You, if you're listening to this, are a subscriber to the Humorism newsletter, and now you are a listener to the Humorism Evening Podcast. Congratulations and thank you. It is Sunday, May 10th, a little after 7 p.m. I'm calling this the Humorism Evening Podcast because I'm going to record it in the evenings, but you are basically free to listen to it whatever type of day you want. Now, I'll say a little bit about why I'm doing this and what I want it to be, and then we'll get into some of the latest comedy news. But basically, I'm doing this for the reasons outlined previously in the email I sent a week ago, which boils down to, I've been in grad school for the last 2 years. It's been fun, it's been great, it's been mostly pretty good. And I've been very fortunate to have my school, my program, give me some money that paid my rent. And now it's over. And as I've probably written about before, my career for like the last 10 years that I've been a quote unquote freelance journalist has mostly been a patchwork of various writing gigs that loosely fit under the umbrellas of journalism and content marketing. And there is just honestly less of it these days. Some of my clients, they've started using AI for their content instead of human writers. Some of them have brought content in-house because they have less money to spend. It turns out that boutique law firms are less reliant on blogs as acquisition funnels these days. So, the tides have changed and I have to find other stuff to do. And I've been applying to jobs. I've been applying to so many jobs and doing some interviews and writing all of these cover letters where I talk about my experience working as a freelancer and running my own newsletter and building my own audience from scratch. And it just occurred to me at one point along the way that maybe it would not be stupid to invest some of the time that I am spending on all of this tedium of applying to other people to be my boss, and instead invest it in the platform I already have and the audience who is already invested in me. And maybe it would be stupid. Maybe it'll turn out that there actually is a natural ceiling to the type of writing that I do, and I have reached it. But hopefully there isn't. And basically, I was in this interview the other week describing all of the ways that a young editorial operation could provide value to its readers, and I just hung up and was thinking to myself, I should just do that. I should just try to provide a little more value to my readers who already exist and are there. And also, as I think I've alluded to now and again over the years, I have sort of a horrible dysfunctional relationship with this thing, where I do find often the content to be so terribly depressing, and the thing that I have chosen to spend my time writing about so bleak and hopeless, and stuff that I think you basically already know if you've been reading for a while, and you probably agree with me, and everything that I'm telling you is not really news. It's just more of the same. And I a lot of the time sit down thinking I'm gonna write today's newsletter now, and then if I think, wait, what's the point actually? So uh, I am here now trying to rejigger this thing a little bit. And one of the ways I have chosen to rejigger it is by doing this podcast, where I think I will talk a little more casually, informally, about the comedy news of the day, the comedy happenings and discourses of the day. Um, it's I it's like an obvious move, I think, that I've been putting off for a long time, largely because even though I write about podcasts for work, but I haven't really listened to them for pleasure for a long time, and I found it sort of hard to put myself in the mindset of someone who does, and then also the mindset of someone who um, would then want to listen to mine too, in addition to all the other podcasts they listen to, probably by professional comedians or media people who know what they're doing. Which, to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. At the time that I'm recording this, I've yet to set up the back end of my newsletter to distribute it. I have to figure out how to do that. I have to develop visual brand identity. If you're a designer or an artist who would like to work with me to develop visual brand collateral, please hit me up. I would be happy to contract your services. All of this just to say, I think while I figure this out, it will be a short and occasional podcast. It'll be me talking. It will be in front of the paywall. It'll be free for all of you. Eventually, it will probably move behind the paywall as an enticement to subscribe as a value add for paying subscribers, or maybe we'll do a free and paid episode situation. Yeah, I'm excited to do it, however, and it was great to hear from so many of you who emailed me last week saying you would listen. I was a bit caught off guard by that. Yeah, let's, I guess, get into the actual content. The big comedy news of today. Everyone's talking about it. You're talking about it. I'm talking about it. We all know what it's going to be. The Netflix comedy brunch. This amazing tradition we all love, where every year during the Netflix is a Joke Festival for the last 2, possibly 3 years. I don't know how many years it's been, maybe 4 or 5 years. Definitely 2 years, we can say for sure. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos has all of the comedians to his big backyard at his big house, and they all have brunch and take pictures with him. It's the Lorne Michaels thing where he needs to be surrounded by the famous people to feel powerful. And they all get together, and they got together on some risers or bleachers by the looks of it. I can't see them in the photo, but I assume there are some risers or bleachers there. If you haven't seen the photo, I can't show it to you because this is not a video podcast. I'm very staunchly opposed to the video podcast until such a time as I am making money for it. But if you haven't seen the picture, call up your favorite social media app and go to the Netflix is a joke account, or anyone else who's quote tweeting it, or don't, and I'll just describe it to you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to describe it to you. The caption says 132 of the world's funniest people walk into a ball pit, and there's all sorts of ball pit balls on the ground. And in addition to there being ball pit balls on the ground, there are a lot of ball pit balls in the air because all of these 132 comedians who are seated or standing on these bleachers, they've just thrown these balls. They're balls of different colors. There's some yellow ones, some green ones, some red ones. I'm seeing purple, orange, definitely a couple orange ones. And the comedians, their arms are outstretched. Their wrists are in the position that your wrist would be in after you throw a ball. It looks like a sort of Overlook Hotel type photo with everyone, all these people looking up at the camera. They're smiling, except for Tony Hinchcliffe. He's got a sort of scared look on his face. We'll get to that. I'm going to go through all the different people. There's obviously Ted Sarandos in the middle. You have to sort of zoom in to see the faces, but I'm zooming in, and there's Ted Sarandos. He's got that's David Letterman on his right and Adam Sandler on his left. The stars. You know what my hero Norm Macdonald says. All the stars are here. I think that's what he says. All the stars are here. You've got Eddie Murphy next to Sandler and Seinfeld next to Eddie Murphy. There's Bert Kreischer with Matt Rife in front of him. That's my dog. My dog's with us. He just got up and did a big shake, as I like to call it. Looking around, we've got, well, there's Louis C.K., obviously. Louis C.K., big Netflix star, just headlined the Hollywood Bowl. They're putting out his new special in a couple months, or maybe next month. One of the months that's going to happen soon. We got Louis C.K. right next to Molly Shannon. She's sort of leaning in next to him to be seen, and Tony Hinchcliffe in front of them, looking. He's got a scared look on his face. I think he's scared. He doesn't look happy. A lot of the people look happy. Jelly Roll's there. the country music star Jelly Roll. He's looking happy, but Tony Hinchcliffe does not look happy, nor does Dave Chappelle, who's next to Tony Hinchcliffe and in front of Louis C.K. He's wearing a shirt that says Dave Chappelle. He's wearing a hat. I don't know. I think it might say DC actually. I think it's a Dave Chappelle branded hat and a Dave Chappelle branded shirt. He's holding on to one of the ball pit balls. Dave Chappelle is. He hasn't thrown it. He held on to it. He wanted to keep it. By the looks of it, looking around, there's Bill Simmons next to Catherine Cohen and David Spades in front of him. Bill Simmons, famous comedian. We all know and love Bill Simmons's comedy. Looking over on the other side, we got Jeff Ross, our friend Jeff Ross, alleged pedophile Jeff Ross, Roastmaster General. He's wearing a hat. He's looking sort of like a thumb. He's got a thumb looking face to him. That reminds me, I have a story about Jeff Ross that I will tell you either later or in a future episode of this podcast. Who else we got? There's Ari Maddie, Kill Tony regular. There's Jay Okerson looking flat, looking kind of photoshopped in, probably a compression artifact. We've got, of course, Tom Segura, our favorite guy who just runs a LolCal podcast at this point. He just plays videos of gay and trans people on TikTok and makes fun of them with his wife, Christina. There's Theo Vaughn looking very unhappy. He just does not seem happy to be there. He seems confused. Ari Maddie's very happy. Ari Maddie he's enthused. But you know who else is looking happy is Dane Cook, who's right there a few spots away from Theo. What can I even say about Dane Cook? Jon Stewart down in the front with Wanda Sykes and Alex Edelman in front of him of Just for Us, the special about how he infiltrated a Nazi meeting and then left as soon as they found out he wasn't a Nazi, and then concluded that they weren't actual Nazis. They were just LARPers. Acclaimed special about how he left the Nazi meeting and decided it wasn't a real Nazi meeting. There's Robbie Hoffman next to Matt Friend, Hassan Minaj in front of both of them, next to, I think I've already mentioned Matt Rife, have I? We got John Marco. He's going through it on Twitter right now. John Mulaney. Who else we got? There's Chris Rock. I think that's Sam Richardson there. Steph Tolev. Joe Coy. I'm gonna be honest, I don't recognize some of these people, and some of them I think are TV sitcom actors who have been just unceremoniously mixed in among the stand-ups and the podcasters. I mean, and Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's there. Did I mention Jelly Roll? I think I might have mentioned Jelly Roll in a take that I uh, deleted because my dog made some noise. Anyway, it's the thing that I'm always saying, which is it's just this big party, just a big party of all the comedians, and also some of them are Nazis, and some of them are sex predators, and it's cool. Everyone's just there smiling, they're hanging out. Alex Edelman, whose whole award-winning thing was that he walked out of a Nazi meeting, but they weren't actual Nazis. So but he walked out and but they weren't real. Just all these people who are so happy, so glad and happy, and playing around in the ball pit and having brunch with with Tony Hinchcliffe and with Theo Vaughn and all these people. I find it very easy in my life, is the thing. I don't know about you, but I find it very easy in my life to just not be around Nazis or sex predators, or at least people who are publicly Nazis and sex predators like Louis C.K., who confessed to it. He confessed. Anyways, but for some reason in comedy, it's just not possible. It seems to be possible in most other art forms. To my knowledge, I don't know of a lot of sculptors who are who helped get Trump elected. I don't know of a lot of painters who go around shitting on trans people and black people. Maybe they're there. Maybe this is my ignorance. But for some reason in comedy, it's you got Jon Stewart here next to fucking Tony Hinchcliffe. It's upsetting. One other thing I will say about this, and you can correct me if you are a famous comedian who works with Netflix and you believe that I am wrong. But the one other thing I will say about this is that I do not believe Netflix is the comedy powerhouse it once was. I don't believe it holds the sway over many of these comedians' careers that it once did. And the reason I don't believe this is that I've been paying attention to these comedians' careers and what they've been saying. They've been releasing specials on YouTube. They've been getting big on TikTok and on podcasts. They don't need Netflix to reach huge national or global audiences. Netflix is the one that has come crawling to them once they did. John Marco could say no to hanging out with the Nazis and the sex predators. Adam Friedland could certainly say no. I don't think he's even done anything with Netflix. He's just there for the love of hanging out with the Nazis and the sex predators. A lot of these guys, they could make a scene, they could pick a fight. It might even be good content if they did. It's hard to imagine their careers suffering for it because they picked a fight with Tony Hinchcliffe at Ted Sarandos's garden party, or they spat at Louis C.K.'s face at Ted Sarandos's garden party. I don't know. I am just, what can I say? That's why I'm the newsletter-based comedy journalist, and they're the comedians, I guess. Well, I think we should call it there for the first episode of the Humorism Evening Podcast, the official podcast of the Humorism newsletter. Thank you for listening. If you did listen, please send me an email, send me a message, send me whatever. Let me know what you thought. I do love to hear from you, even if it sometimes takes me a while to get back. Hopefully that gets better now that I'm done with school. Yes, thank you. And end of podcast.